the Posse Comitatus Act stops the government from going into into states in order to create these posses that were legally deputized to go out and enforce the law and suppress lawlessness. So the pertinent part of the law says, from and after the passage of this act, it shall not be lawful, so it would be unlawful, to employ any part of the Army of the United States. This has subsequently been expanded to other military departments as a posse comitatus or otherwise for the purpose of executing the laws, except in such cases and under such circumstances as such employment of said force may expressly be authorized by the Constitution or Act of Congress. And so Donald is already wrapping himself up in Alien Enemies Act. He's going to wrap himself up in foreign policy's power. He's going to wrap himself up in emergency of crime happening. And then there are the exceptions that are generally accepted, like, providing general criminal counterintelligence investigations when there's a nexus, there's a relationship to a particular military branch conducted by civilian agents of certain independent military investigative agencies, such as surveillance and intelligence, essentially a surveillance state. That is not covered under the PCA. Can't keep saying Posse Comitatus. And so, under another law, the president can use the National Guard while not federalized in its law enforcement capacity. And he can do so at any time he wants in D.C. because he's the one who controls the National Guard of D.C. And without federalizing, he can use National Guard for law enforcement capacity under 32 U.S.C. Section 502F. You can look up the laws. You can just go to the Wikipedia and then go to the sources from the Wikipedia. That's where you want to start. That's what encyclopedias are for. You read the information, then you go to the original sources that are referred to in the footnotes, and then you see the source and you read what's in the source. And so then under another law, 10 U.S.C. Section 284, military may provide surveillance, intelligence gathering, observation, and equipment for domestic law enforcement on operations such as drug interdiction and counterterrorism missions. Why do you think Donald has been framing this whole thing on crimes and drug cartels to begin with? Whether there is any truth to the ones he's detaining on the basis of that or not. He's clearly not removing 2, 4, and 7-year-olds on the basis of those emergencies. He's giving those parents a choice within the hour, within 24 hours, to decide whether to leave their children behind or take their children if these people are, as Donald's government and regime are saying, undocumented or illegal aliens. They are owed due process of law, and their children are definitely owed due process of law. They are citizens of the United States, and as wardens of citizens of the United States, these parents must also have rights of at least due process. Even Scalia said, Antonin Scalia, one of the most conservative justices to have sort of roared from the bench, who would now be a moderate, it seems, said that everybody gets due process of law. So remember, when Donald Trump throws all these things at where he's getting his powers from, what the exceptions and evasions are to the Posse Comitatus Act, because there already are holes in that net that Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and the Department of Defense's loyalists can employ.